What's happening, guys? It's Coach Bernard. This time I have a video just to talk about something I get asked a lot about in a good majority of my videos, and that's the use of elastic laces. The elastic laces. But in this video, I'll be talking about the pros and cons of having elastic laces, how I put them on, which is pretty self-explanatory, and lastly, the types of laces I use. So let's get to it. Now, I have been using elastic laces for a good while now. The first pair of lace-up gloves I bought were the ringside ones here. And I got the idea for having elastic laces way long time ago, back when people were on post forums. The post forum I got it from was the SureDog gear review section for their post forum. Don't know if any of you know what post forums are anymore, but I'm sure most of you do. But in that post, I remember someone giving a little review on their gloves, and everyone made a big deal that this guy was using elastic laces, and myself included. Thought it was a pretty cool idea. So here we are. Now, the first thing I want to talk about are the pros of having elastic laces. And the main pro when it comes to having elastic laces is being able to put on your gloves by yourself. You don't have to ask someone to put it on for you. You don't have to bother your coaches or your teammates to help you lace up your gloves. But it also benefits you if you're training solo. So if you train by yourself and you have lace-up gloves, then you don't have to worry about tying them up or getting someone to tie it for you. Another benefit is that you do have a little bit of tightness to it, which equals to a little bit more support. Now, what I used to do a long time ago, I used to just have my laces already pre-tied, and that way I can just slide it in. But the problem with doing this is that you don't really have much wrist support, or it's not really as tight as it should be. So you do put yourself in risk for injury that way. And I usually do this before I swap them out for elastic laces. But yeah, you don't get the same support if you were to do this way. But at least with elastic laces, you do get that tightness all throughout, and you do get a little extra support, but not a lot of support, and I'll talk about that later in the cons. Another pro, easy on and off, so you can take it off, put it on, and you won't need too much help and assistance to do that yourself. Now, another pro for me, not so much for everybody, but for me and maybe a selected few, I'm not a big fan of Velcro.
I can't stand Velcro.
That's why I always get lace-ups. It has nothing to do with the sound of the Velcro or it being too loud. It's mainly just Velcro wears out. When the Velcro wears out, your gloves are pretty much useless unless you tape them up all the time, which you can do. I do that for a few of my fighters whose gloves had the Velcro strap wear out. So that's definitely a big con for me. Once the Velcro's gone, your gloves are on the way out, pretty much. And another pro, chicks dig it. You'll be working out one day and a girl across the room will be like, "Hey, is that guy wearing elastic laces?" And you'll be like, "I totally am. Want to be my girlfriend?" And boom, you got yourself a girlfriend. True story. Somewhere, maybe in Canada, it can happen. Now, when it comes to the cons, there are just a couple. As I mentioned earlier in one of the pros, that it does give some support, but not a lot of support. You do lose some of the wrist support, so it's make sure your wrist a little bit loose. You don't get that tightness you would normally get, because with normal lace-ups, you would tie them all the way up here and wrap it around the wrist a couple of times and tie it nice and tight. You don't have that with lace-ups. You can. I did that with my rival ones because it does have that little angled lace track here. So what I did here, because it had long extra slack, I just tie it across. I got it back here, I just turn around. That way I still follow the angled lace track here, and I get that wrist support there. You can't really do this for all your gloves. You can if the elastic is long. These ones are about 52 inches. The other ones I would normally get, like this one here, this is about 40 inches. So you can't really do it for 40 inches. But if you get a 52 inches, you can definitely do it all across like that. So the port wouldn't be the same if you tied it with normal laces. And the next con, it's not really a big con, but they're not super cheap. They go for maybe like $5 a pair. Depending on what brand you get, some brands go for about 10, especially if you want the fancy colors. Like the gold ones here, these ones were about, I think, $12 Canadian, so like 10 bucks American. Whereas if you just want like white or black, I got these ones here, they're about like 2 pairs for $10. And another con is because chicks do dig it, you'll get too many girlfriends. And you know, girls bring drama. It's okay, I can say this stuff. Girls don't watch the channel anyways. I think maybe one. Now, when it comes to the actual laces that I would normally buy, I like buying the flat lace ones here. I used to get these ones, the rounded ones, but they look too much like a bungee cord to me, so I didn't really like the look of it. But I don't like how thin it is. And when you get the thin elastic laces, it looks kind of cheap. But yeah, the brand I normally get is called XN, so XXIN. It comes in a little package like this sometimes. One time I bought it, came in a package that was just a clear plastic bag. This one here, it's kind of confusing because it says here foot care product, and on the back here there's like a picture of someone massaging feet. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it makes sense where it's made in China. There's another brand you might see. They have ads for it like on Instagram and stuff. It's called Expands. Those ones are a little bit more expensive, but they come in a lot of different colors. That's where I got my gold ones, I think. Could be completely wrong here. Probably am. But the Expands brands are more expensive. They're usually about $10 a pair, whereas the Accents comes in 2 pairs for 10 bucks. If you buy 1 pair, it's like $5. Now these laces are really great. I actually use them for my shoes as well. Not my boxing shoes, that'll just be silly. Another good use for these is that if you're into making face masks, especially in these times, you can use these as the part that goes around your ear. Now some alternatives to elastic laces. Now a lot of people ask me, why don't you just get lace and loops? Now if you listen to my pros from earlier,
I can't stand Velcro.
I don't like Velcro. Lace and loops are Velcro straps. And I do find that lace and loops are a little thick, so they kind of add a little bit of chunk to it. Not too bad for sparring gloves, because sparring gloves are bigger. But if I had like fight gloves, like 10-ounce gloves, and I threw on some lace and loops on these, it'll add a little chunk to it, a little bit of bulkiness around that wrist. I kind of like that streamlined look. So for me, it's all about appearances, obviously. So lace and loops, it's a good alternative. A lot of people like using lace and loops. It's just that here in Canada, they're pretty hard to get. If you go on Amazon, I think in Canadian prices, it's gonna go up to, for us, about like 50 bucks with all like tariffs, custom fees, duties, tax, and tip. Yeah, we tip everybody. No, we don't. Whereas in the US, lace and loops are like 20 bucks or something like that. But here, lace and loops in Canada are not very easy to find. But elastic laces are super easy to find. Just go to Amazon. Links below. Mentioned that earlier, didn't I? But that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any questions, comment below. But if you like the video, click like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. Catch you next time.